Be still and know that I am God. Psalms 46:10. It is in the stillness of our being that we get to know God, because where God is. It is in the oneness where there is no noise of the mind, where there is no noise of the body. That's where you meet God. Some people have asked me to write about my story before I die. Maybe some of them felt that I'm dying very soon. But anyway, I declined that offer because I did not consider it worthy. I've always considered it as more confusing to the generation that by writing my story. Because my story is my story, and my story is not their story. It is just my story. That's why I declined. And most probably one of the another reasons as to why I declined to write about my story was because I I don't want to confuse people that they may think I'm better than them or I'm holier than them. No. And another more reason as to why I do not consider writing my story or putting my story in the public is for fear that some people felt that I'm going to confuse the church. I'm going to confuse the church. And I want to allow people to be themselves. So I declined. I said, time will tell when I can put it on the public. And I think my life has not been as important or more important than anyone's life. More so if you understand what life is. And this understanding of life comes from true devotion. It comes from true devotion. Devotion of seeking. If you are a devotee of seeking, a devotee of a seeker, then the secrets of life will be open to you. If you are free, or the moment we free ourselves from what we are not, the moment we free ourselves from that which is not real, then we are in a position to get to know the secrets of life because they become so obvious for us. I can say one of the enemies of getting to know or getting in touch with our real selves is a judgment or the conclusion that we make about everything, the conclusions that we make about life. We know minuscule about life. We know very less about life. So the moment we make conclusions, we deny or we deprive ourselves the privilege of knowing life. And when the life said, judge not. To judge means to make a conclusion that life is so and so, life is this, life is not this, life is not fair, life is not good, life is sweet. All these are conclusions. These deny us the opportunity, the privilege of knowing life. But once we allow life, once we face life as a mystery, once we face life as a mystery, then we have the joy of unveiling this mystery. And I think that's why most of writings of St. Paul will write, what has been hidden from the beginning of the world, what has remained hidden from the beginning of the world, has been revealed in these last days. Why? When something becomes obvious for us, we lose the experience of it. the desire to seek more, to experience deeper connection, deeper interactions with it. When people become so obvious to us, and I think that's where the saying comes, familiarity brings contempt. Contempt is, we are too familiar. I know everything. I know everything about you. There is nothing remaining for me to know about you. And then the boredom comes. We lose the taste. So this is something, because I have had people telling me, no, how did this happen to you? And this is what I say. Be of single mind and free yourself from making judgments and conclusions. Free yourself from wanting to be right or wrong. Free yourself from being right or being wrong. And just be you. When you are you, life will manifest, you'll get touch or in connection with life as life. Secondly, be a true devotee. A true devotee is not caring much about the end product, but is caring about the process. Is not just interested in the outcome, but is also interested in the process, because also the process is part of the plan, is part of the project. The process carries with itself riches, experiential riches. So there are so many people who are looking at in terms of, I want to be like this, but I advise you, I call you that you also pay attention. As much as you pay attention to the end goal, you also pay attention to the process, because the process will enrich the end goal. So what I'm trying to say is, our journey understood as a process, not as a finished product, but as a process, becomes rich. Our experience of it becomes rich. And this is something I have understood as part of my life, by interacting with my life. And I guess many people think there is a manual for becoming spiritual or knowing the secrets of the spirit. And I think there is no a defined manual. Though the easiest one, but at the same time the most difficult one, is a path of devotion. As a devotee who is willing to spend quality time, who is willing to spend quality resources, who is willing to let go the good ideas that you have, the good conclusions that you have, one who is willing to let go of the conclusions that you have made about yourself, the judgments that we have made about ourselves, then you can become a true devotee. The prodigal son, we are told, he came to his senses. He came to his senses. And when he came to his senses, what did he say? In my father's house, there are many riches. There is everything. I better go there I say I'm sorry, and it's better for me to be a servant, but I have somewhere to sleep, I have everything. He came to his senses. When did he come to his senses? When everything had collapsed. When he was willing to let go everything, that's when he came to his senses. He came to realization of the Father, and he left and went back to the Father. So, and with this Father, he went back to the Father's house. Going back to the Father's house, he lost everything, only up until all the years he has remained in the Father's house, but he never knew the value of being in Father's house. He never knew that. Sometimes we lose things, we lose people, or we depart complaining, feeling bitter because we feel being in a certain place is not pleasant for us and you want to escape. We may live in the Father's house, just as this prodigal son lived in the Father's house, maybe for 18 years. And when he left, when he was there, when he lost everything, when he had no survival, when he had nothing to hold on, when he had nothing to cling to, when he lost even somewhere to sleep, he has no food, he has no friend, that's when he came to his realization. And that's why I'm saying, for us, for our spiritual growth or our spiritual recovery is a process of being a devotee is when we are ready, when even if we lose everything, we are ready and we are devoted to the process. We are devoted to the process, even if it means losing all that we deserve, all that we think we deserve. And this is what happened to the prodigal son. The prodigal son lost everything. He has no security. When you lose your security, he has no financial security, he has no food security, he has no house security, he has no friendship security, not even a single security is having. And then we are told in that year there was famine in that land. There was famine in that land. It is now this famine that took away everything. The soft life, the easy life, the good life of what he had known. He lost everything. And after losing everything, the prodigal son came to his senses, came to the realization. And one of the masters has said, while still we are holding onto our securities, we cannot awaken. For the walls that we build for self-preservation becomes the walls of self-imprisonment. I'm not saying you forfeit your riches. I'm not saying you forfeit your common sense. I'm not saying you forfeit your securities. But I'm saying for the realization that you are looking for, it has no particular place, particular period, particular moment, but is for you. It happens when you come to your senses, when you come to your realization. And we are told, when he came into his senses, he now started the journey of going back home. He started the journey of going back home. He started the process of going back home. And in that process, he was still carrying the past. He was still carrying what held him. He was still carrying the yesterdays. And he's going on to tell the Father, I am sorry because of my yesterday. I am sorry because of what I did yesterday. I am sorry because of what I said yesterday. I am sorry because of what I thought yesterday. And the Father is not interested in that. The Father at home sees him from distance and runs towards him, and he embraces him. When we come to the realization, everything gets restored. The peace of mind gets restored. The joy gets restored. The acceptance gets restored. What we had lost gets restored. But after finishing the journey as a true devotee, and as a devotee, you renounce many things. Renunciation. You renounce many things. You let go many things. You let go even sleep. You let go even conveniences. You let go many things. Just to understand, a man does not live on bread alone, but on every word that comes from the mouth of God. There is more than the physical. This physical is a tool that we use. The money that we get is a lubrication that we use. So whatever we have on this planet is a gift that we may know ourselves in our own experience. So St. Paul says how he had to let go everything, how he considered everything as a rubbish after coming to know the Christ. And my story is a story of Christ. My story is a story of Christ, because this is the transformation. This is when you become a new creation. So when you realize, or you get realized, you are a new creation. Initially, you are creation dominated by the brain, by the mind. Initially, you are a creation dominated by the body. Now you are a new creation who uses these things. Initially, you were used by these things. Think about something, you talk about overthinking, and you lose the game. But now you are using these things. Initially, you are used by your emotions. When you get realized, you understand emotions are tools that you use to enhance your experience. And this is what the gains of the process of realization. And this is salvation that we are looking for. We are seeking for salvation. When we seek for salvation, and then we realize all these years I've been having salvation with me, and I don't need to go anywhere to find the salvation. It's not a must that you should renounce all these things, or you should sacrifice, or you should denounce them, that you can get realized. Is an intention. And this is an intention that I had. And as a true seeker, I sought to understand my life. I sought to understand whether I'm just this body, this piece of meat, this piece of flesh. Am I thinking? And I devoted myself. I devoted my days not caring about my security, not caring about my survival. Dying was not an issue for me. Eating was not an issue for me. But my issue was I need to know the me. I need to understand what is really happening for me and what is my purpose for this life. And this is a question I know many of us are asking. What is my purpose of this life? Yes, is a question that I've asked myself because I had forgotten my purpose for this life. That this life I have no purpose apart from the purpose that I've created, the purpose that I've established. Many of us, we are caught up because we are looking for what is my purpose. We go here, what is my purpose? Can you tell me? Can you pray to God that I may know my purpose? I encourage you. Listen keenly in the silence of your heart. Listen keenly in the silence with a true desire to know. And this happened to me. For 1 week, praying, listening attentively that I may get to know the purpose of this life. And around 5 minutes past 1, I was caught up in a trance. And then some few people appeared before me. And in a language that I cannot repeat, I don't know what was said because it was a strange language. But what I know, I was not sleeping. I was very awake. That's why I know about the time. I was asked, the translation was given, read Jeremiah 33:3. Read Jeremiah 33:3. Jeremiah 33:3 says, call to me and I'll answer you. I'll tell you great and unsearchable things that you have not known. For thus says the Lord, the God of Israel, concerning the house of this city and the houses of the king of Judah, that were torn down to make a defense against siege rams and before the sword. Call to me and I'll answer you. But I have just asked, I wanted to know exactly what am I supposed to be doing on this lifetime. I don't want to waste it, I just want to know my lifetime. And then this is the kind of answer that you give me, that I call on to you. I thought I have called you and you are supposed to be telling me this is something that I must be doing so that I can devote myself for that. It was not the case. That was not the case. I was asked, call unto me and I answer you. I'll tell you great things beyond reach of your knowledge. And later, after years, I came to understand that there are so many things that we do not know as humanity that I need to know. There are so many things about life that we do not know. There are so many things about living and dying that we do not know. There are so many things that we do not know about the afterlife. There are so many things we do not know. Our being born, our birth. There are so many things we do not know about relationships. There are so many things we don't know about God. There are so many things we don't know about Holy Spirit. There are so many things we don't know about religion. There are so many things we don't know about spirituality. And this is what the Lord reminded me, was saying, call unto me and I'll answer you. I'll tell you great and unsearchable things beyond reach of your knowledge about God and the creation. And with the enthusiasm, I started speaking about them. I started speaking about my life, and I realized it causing a lot of confusion because what I came to know was more not aligned with what our society is teaching us, what our society has been giving us, what our religion has been giving us. And people felt threatened because of my ideas, because of my knowing. What I know was not aligned with what they have. And they felt that if I continue being part of the project, or I continue that way, I'm going to ruin what has been built up for more than 2,000 years. And the call is not to destroy, is not to ruin. I'm not here to ruin anything, but to expand the knowing of what we have known or what we have. And it is for that reason I am here. For that reason I am on this life, that I may know and remind those who have forgotten about the intentions that they had before this life, the intentions that they have established from the foundation of the world. This is what I'm reminding them. And where do I get it? When I call in silence. Be silent and know that I am God. It's only in silence you can listen. In silence you can listen. When I talk about silence, I mean the silence of the mind. When the mind is silent, when the body is silent, then you know how to listen. And may the God of grace, who dwells within me, who never left me, who said in Isaiah 32, 38 to 40, they shall be my people and I'll be their God. I'll give them one heart and one way. I'll give them one heart, one way. One heart, one way. A devotee has one heart and one way, that they may fear me for all the time, for their own good and the good of their children. To love God, to love life, to love the process, to love the truth, for their own good and the good of their children after them. It's not just one generation, it is for all generations. When you become a true devotee, it's not just for this generation, but for all the generations. And I will make an everlasting covenant with them, never to draw back from doing good to them. And I will put the fear of me in their hearts, so that they may not turn from me. I will rejoice in doing good to them, and I will plant them in this land in faithfulness with all my heart and all my soul. This is a promise for the devotees, because once you understand this truth about devotion, about spirituality, that you'll understand what it means to be spiritual and to seek the things of the Spirit. Get to know the things of the Spirit. Be one with the things of the Spirit. And this happens in silence. In silence, where you get to know the way, one and one heart. One way and one heart. Heart is the pathway that links between your mind and that links between your mind and your body and experience. So the heart is the pathway. When the heart is open, the way is open. So it is a way of heart. That way that links between your brain and your experience. That links between your mind and your experience. That is the heart. Let it be open. That